The night is thick with silence, so thick it feels as if the world itself is holding its breath. Somewhere in the darkness, a shadow moves without sound, gliding just beyond the edge of sight. He is neither alive nor dead, a remnant of nightmares long forgotten. They call him Death, the Ripper. No one knows when he first appeared, only that he walks where sorrow lingers, where hope has been shattered. His blade gleams like a sliver of moonlight, razor-sharp, merciless. And with each step, the air grows colder, heavier. Tonight, his footsteps echo faintly on aged floorboards, a haunting creak that chills the soul. He's come for a man named Elias, broken, alone, and unaware of the deadly presence closing in. But the Ripper is patient. He waits for the perfect moment, when fear is at its peak and the soul is ripe for the taking. Will Elias surrender to the darkness? Or does he still hold a spark of defiance strong enough to challenge death itself? In the shadows, the answer lies waiting. Elias sat by the window of his old house, staring out at the relentless rain. It had been months since the accident that stole his wife and daughter away, leaving him a hollow shell of the man he once was. The house creaked and groaned around him, as if mourning with him. The storm outside mirrored the tempest inside his heart, cold, dark, and unyielding. Every night, as twilight faded into darkness, Elias felt a presence creeping closer. It was a sensation he could not shake, a cold breath on the back of his neck, the faintest whisper carried by the wind. The shadows seemed to lengthen, growing heavier, as if something was waiting just out of sight. He tried to tell himself it was his mind playing tricks, that grief had worn down his senses. But deep inside, he knew the truth. Something was coming for him, something old and merciless. As the clock struck midnight, the house fell deathly silent. Then came the faintest creak from the floorboards behind him, a sound like a warning. Elias's heart pounded. He dared not turn around. From the depths of the shadows emerged a figure, thin, pale, and frail, with eyes that burned like cold embers. In his hand gleamed a razor-sharp blade that caught the moonlight. Elias recognized the figure from the nightmares that haunted his sleepless nights. Death, the Ripper, had come. The Ripper's voice was a whisper, like the rustling of dry leaves in a forgotten forest. I come for those who are lost, those whose souls are broken by life's cruel hand. Elias felt no fear, only a deep exhaustion. Why me? He asked, voice barely audible. Because you have no fight left. You have given up on life's promise, the Ripper replied, stepping closer, the blade glinting ominously. I offer release, peace from your suffering. Elias closed his eyes, memories flooding back. His wife's laughter, his daughter's smile, all torn away in an instant. The weight of grief pressed down on him, threatening to suffocate what little hope remained. But even as the Ripper reached out, Elias felt a spark deep within, a flicker of defiance. No matter how broken he felt, he was not yet ready to surrender. With trembling hands, Elias reached for the blade, knocking it from the Ripper's grasp. The sound echoed like a thunderclap in the silent room. The Ripper's eyes narrowed, a shadow of surprise crossing his pale face. You resist, he hissed. Few do. Elias stood, his voice firmer than before. I am not yours to take. The room seemed to close in around Elias as the Ripper advanced, his movements fluid and silent. The blade flashed through the air, but Elias ducked and stumbled back, driven by a desperation he hadn't felt in months. He realized the fight was not just with the Ripper, it was with the darkness inside himself. The pain, the loss, the despair that had threatened to consume him. You think you can fight me? The Ripper taunted. I am death itself, the end of all things. But Elias's heart beat with a newfound strength. I've lost much, he admitted, but I still have something worth fighting for, hope. The Ripper recoiled as if struck, his form flickering like a dying flame. For the first time, Elias saw weakness beneath the terror. Summoning every ounce of will, Elias lunged forward, grappling with the shadowy figure. The blade slipped from the Ripper's grasp again, clattering to the floor. Breathing heavily, Elias pinned the Ripper against the wall. The pale figure's eyes burned with a mixture of fury and respect. "You have strength I did not expect," the Ripper whispered. "But this is not the end." Elias shook his head. "It is the beginning for me." The Ripper's form began to dissolve into the shadows, retreating into the darkness from which he came. "I will return," he warned, "for all who falter." As the first light of dawn crept through the window, Elias felt a warmth he hadn't known in months. The storm outside had passed, leaving the world washed clean. He knew the Ripper would lurk in the shadows, waiting for the broken and the lost. But tonight, he had won a small victory. Proof that even in the darkest moments, the will to live could burn bright. Days had passed since that fateful night when Elias faced the Ripper, and slowly, the heavy fog of despair began to lift from his mind. The house, once oppressive with silence and sorrow, now seemed to breathe with him. The faint scent of damp earth and old wood filled the air, mingling with the soft warmth of sunlight that streamed through cracked window panes, casting golden patterns on the worn floorboards. Each morning, Elias awoke to the gentle chorus of birdsong weaving through the open window, their melodies a delicate reminder that life continued beyond his grief. The garden outside, wild and untamed, was alive with the rustling of leaves and the sweet, subtle fragrance of blooming flowers reclaiming their place despite neglect. He ran his fingers over the rough bark of a gnarled tree, feeling the textured grooves beneath his skin, a quiet testament to resilience. The cool breeze brushed against his face, carrying whispers of distant rain and the promise of renewal. Though the shadow of the Ripper still lingered at the edge of his thoughts like a chill in the air, it no longer held dominion over his heart. That spectral figure had become a symbol, not of surrender, but of the battle he had endured and the strength he had found within himself. Elias stepped beyond the threshold of his home, the gravel crunching softly beneath his worn boots. The world outside felt raw and vivid, every sound and sent a thread pulling him back to life. He breathed deeply, the air filling his lungs with a mingling of earth and sky, grounding him in the present. He knew the pain of loss would echo in his soul for years to come, a shadow never fully banished. But grief was no longer an anchor. It was a part of his story, a scar that marked survival rather than defeat. As the sun climbed higher, painting the sky with hues of rose and amber, Elias looked toward the horizon. There, beyond the rolling fields and distant trees, lay an uncertain future, one filled with challenges yet to come. But for the first time in a long while, he carried with him a fragile, flickering hope, a quiet flame that whispered of healing, resilience, and the courage to face whatever darkness might still lie ahead. And with that hope burning softly in his chest, Elias took a steady step forward, ready to meet the dawn. Elias's battle with the Ripper was not merely a fight against death. It was a struggle to reclaim his own soul from the depths of despair. Though the shadow still lingers at the edges of his world, he has found within himself a strength that even the coldest darkness cannot extinguish. Life, with all its pain and uncertainty, remains a fragile flame worth protecting. Elias knows the road ahead will not be easy. The scars of loss run deep, and the Ripper waits patiently in the shadows, ready to claim those who falter. But for now, hope burns quietly in Elias's heart, a beacon in the night, a promise that even in the face of death, the human spirit can endure. His story is a reminder to us all. When shadows creep close and whispers of despair surround us, it is our courage to stand, to fight, and to hope that defines the true measure of our souls. Every story leaves something behind, a question, a feeling, a shadow. What stayed with you after this one? Share your thoughts below, and if you enjoy stories like this, be sure to hit like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next tale. Thanks for watching.